if you were to give like a parallel analogy to data in terms of fueling your growth, how would you see content fueling growth in this next, like 2026? How should people be thinking about content fueling the 2026 growth?
I mean, content is constantly fueling our growth, or it should be even today, right? It is the primary thing that drives journeys in a digital landscape, right? So, in terms of driving growth, I think we have to continue to look at how do we unlock the potential of what our content is and can do for us, right? So, one, for example, again, when I'm thinking from a content strategy perspective, are you creating reusable GPTs, for example, that are common and accessible across your entire team that can be reused to generate scale and speed and, frankly, better inputs at that point, right? With the types of prompts you use. In the production, have I already implemented using AI for ideation and for drafting and all of that kind of thing, right? For activation, which is a very strong point for PathFactory, like how am I using it to drive personalization at scale? How am I using it to personalize at every touch point in a way that isn't just a personalization layer, like I know who you are, but it's very contextual to who that person is, where they are in a journey, and what they care about. And you need, and that comes back to your question around data, or your comment around data. You cannot do that without what I call content intelligence, right? Which is not only an understanding of what your content is, how it's working for you, how the data around the interaction that's happened with it by whom, but how does that go back and inform your larger go-to-market strategy, which that loop does not exist for most people that I know today, right? So, and that comes back to that comment as content as data. Content is data. It is actually a container of information, right, in itself that can be analyzed to understand what it's about. But as people interact with that content, whether it's a conversation response or an actual PDF or a web page, that is generating signals that we need to be able to capture and tie back to the account, opportunity, individual level, as well as to the campaign level. There's all of these different lenses that if we don't think of content as data and also include it in our data strategy, a unified data strategy, we will inevitably have gaps in our insights around the customer lifecycle. Bottom line.